I check the lock twice. Not because I'm scared of burglars, not because I live in a bad neighborhood. I do it because once, just once, I came home and the door was locked perfectly. From the inside.
Historically, it's been all about that fast start.
Enemy spotted down there!
That sounds like the kind of thing you say to make a story interesting. Like a dramatic hook, like a creepy opening line. But I'm not telling you this to be interesting. I'm telling you because it changed the way I look at doors, at keys, at silence, and at myself. I used to be normal about it, the lock, the routine. I'd come home, drop my keys in the bowl, kick my shoes off, and move on with my life like everyone else. Then something happened, and now I don't move on from small things. Now I test them. Now I double check. Now I listen. It started on a day that felt painfully average, the kind of day you wouldn't remember if you tried. No storms, no weird phone calls, no ominous strangers in trench coats, just errands, traffic, a grocery bag cutting into my fingers, and that quiet relief you get when you finally see your building. I remember feeling tired, not I need sleep tired, more like I need my life to stop spinning for 5 minutes. I climbed the stairs, reached my floor, and did what I always do. I pulled my keys out before I even got to the door. But when I got there, I noticed something tiny. The door wasn't fully aligned with the frame. Barely, like a millimeter, like the door had shifted, then settled again.
One shot, one shot!
Annoyed at myself for noticing. Because once you start seeing small details, your brain acts like
he's dead
every
already?
detail matters. I told myself it was nothing. Old building, humidity, wood expands, metal shifts, life happens. I put the key in, turned it didn't move. At first I thought I used the wrong key. You know that dumb moment where your hand is doing something your brain hasn't fully processed yet? So I tried again. Same thing. I pushed the key in deeper, wiggled it. Nothing.
Nice.
And then the thought showed up, quiet and cold. It's already locked. Okay,
Down, down,
fine.
down, down.
Maybe I locked it earlier.
On
Maybe
me,
I
on
left,
me.
came back, forgot, left again.
There is a small one
Your
around
mind
us.
will offer
Light
you
one.
any explanation that
He's
lets
hidden,
you
guys.
stay
I
calm.
saw him.
So I shrugged, put a little more pressure on the key, and tried to unlock it. Still nothing. At that point, I leaned closer and looked at the lock itself, because there's a difference between locked and stuck, right?
Revive, guys, revive.
That's when I saw it, the little inner latch, the one you can only set from inside. It was set. It shouldn't be possible. Not in a normal world, not in the world where locks are simple and doors are honest. Because I live alone. I didn't have roommates, I didn't have someone crashing on my couch, and I hadn't had visitors in weeks. So for a few seconds, I just stood there, staring at the door, like the door owed me an explanation. My first reaction wasn't fear, it was irritation. That sounds crazy, but it's true. Because fear feels like a big dramatic emotion,
Nice.
and what I felt was smaller and
Nice.
uglier. The feeling that something was out of place and I didn't have time for it. Like when your phone glitches, like when your car makes a new sound, like
Well
when
done,
a
guys.
stranger calls you by your name. You don't panic at first. You get annoyed because reality isn't behaving. I knocked. Not a polite knock, a firm one. Nothing. I called out. Hello? Nothing. The hallway was quiet in that way hallways are quiet, like they're pretending they aren't listening. So I knocked again, harder. Still nothing. This is where a normal person would call someone, a friend, a neighbor, the building manager. But my brain went into a different mode. It went into prove it mode. Because if the door was locked from inside and I live alone, then there are only a few options, and none of them are good. Option 1,
Nice.
I'm mistaken. Option 2, someone is inside. Option 3, Something happened and I forgot. And I didn't like any of those options. So I did what people do when they're trying not to be scared. I got practical. I set the grocery bags down. I took out my phone. I checked the time, like that mattered. I listened again, leaning my ear near the door. Not even the hum of my fridge, not even the faint sound of my AC.
Nice, nice,
Just
nice, nice. That's
nothing.
it. Yeah.
That's when I noticed
This is
something
the
else.
spirit, guys.
The smell. Not a strong smell, just a hint, like metal, like old dust, like something new inside something old. It didn't belong. And suddenly my irritation slid into something else, something tighter. My hand went to the doorknob. I turned
Nice.
it. The knob moved. The door opened, just a little, not enough
Oh,
to
on
see
me,
inside,
guys, on me.
but enough to feel resistance.
Nice, nice,
Like
nice,
something
nice.
was holding it, like someone or something was standing on the other side, keeping it from opening fully. My throat went dry because that tiny resistance did what no ghost story ever did. It made it real. I stepped back. I told myself, okay, this is where you stop being brave. I reached into my pocket and pulled my keys again, like keys could protect me. I pushed the door gently. It didn't budge. I pushed harder. Still nothing. And I swear to you, this is the part I replay the most. The resistance moved. Not like the door changed, like whatever was pressing against it shifted its weight. I didn't breathe. I just
Got
stood
him, guys,
there,
got him.
staring at the crack like a fool, waiting for a face to appear. Nothing appeared. No footsteps, no voice, no sudden attack. Just that quiet hallway and that door that was suddenly not mine. I backed away and went down the stairs, not running, not panicking, just walking with that weird calm that shows up when your brain decides it will deal with fear later. Outside, I sat on the curb and tried to think. I called the building manager. No answer. I called the emergency number for the building, straight to voicemail. So I sat there, watching people pass by like they were in a different universe. And I asked myself a question I didn't want to ask. If someone is inside, how did they get in? And if no one is inside, then what is holding the door? After about 20 minutes, I went back up. Why? Because curiosity is stronger than fear for a little
I'm
while.
gonna crash out, guys.
I climbed the stairs slowly and I could feel my heartbeat in my hands.
Fuck this
When I
fucking
got to
shit.
my door, I stood in front of it again. The crack was still there. The latch was still set. I reached for the knob. This time, it opened.
The sword
Not
bitch.
just a crack. It opened like it always does, like nothing had happened. I stepped inside. The air felt colder. Not dramatically cold, just slightly off. I turned on the lights. Everything looked normal. My couch, my table, my shoes where I left them. No broken windows, no signs of a struggle. I walked through each room carefully, like my eyes
Nice,
were
nice.
detectives. Bathroom, normal.
We're back.
Kitchen, normal. Bedroom, normal. Closet, normal. No one, nothing. Then I looked at the lock. The inner latch was no longer set. It was
Give it
in
to
the
me, give it to me,
open
give it.
position,
Let's go.
as if someone unlocked it. But I was the first person inside. I would have seen them. I would have heard them. I didn't want to go there because going there
One
meant admitting something that makes people look at you differently. So I did the only thing that made sense.
Oh shit.
I told myself it was a mechanical issue. That's what I told myself. A
Nice
faulty
try, guys, nice
latch,
try.
a weird alignment, some kind of glitch in the door, because that explanation lets you sleep. But here's the thing, if it was a mechanical issue, why did it feel like something shifted its weight? Why did the silence inside my apartment feel deliberate? And why, when I looked down at the floor near the entrance, I see a faint mark, like someone had dragged something heavy across it. I knelt down and ran my fingers over the mark. Dust collected along the edges like it was recent, like something had moved and the dust hadn't had time to settle again. I followed the mark. It wasn't long,
Good
just a
teamwork,
short
guys, good
drag
teamwork.
line, ending near my hallway closet. My closet, the one with the jackets and old boxes and stuff I never use. I stood there for a long time, just staring at the closet door, because closets are funny. They're the most normal place in the world, and they're also the first place your mind turns into a horror movie. I opened it. Slowly. Nothing. Just my stuff. A winter coat, a bag, some old shoes, no hidden trapdoor, no person crouched inside, no surprise. Just a closet, and yet I felt stupid for checking, and I felt stupid for feeling relieved.
Coming to revive, coming to revive.
That night, I couldn't relax. Not because I thought someone was hiding, because the logic of my space had been violated.
Let's go,
My
guys.
home had done something without my permission. And it sounds dramatic, but that's the core of it. Your home is supposed to obey the rules. Doors are supposed to open when you unlock them. Locks are supposed to do what locks do. Space is supposed to stay consistent. But that day, something in my apartment behaved like it had its own intention, like it could decide who gets to enter. I still lived there. I didn't move out. I didn't
you
call a
bitch.
priest. I didn't post about it. I just adapted, because humans are great at adapting to things they don't understand. We call it getting used to it, but sometimes getting used to it is just another way of saying you've learned to live with a question you can't answer.
Guys.
And every night before I sleep, I stand at the
Was one
door,
shot.
I test the lock once,
why I pushed
twice, and I listen for the click that proves I'm not alone.
Bro, can you please bring a turret? Turret with you? We need turret.
Jurisdictions, but not here. Elimination. Piling up for contestants out there. Let's see how far they can take it. That could be a
Steal it. I'm dying. Cover me, cover me, cover me. Yes! Yes! It's ours! It's ours! Yeah! Yes! Yeah! Well done!
The ultra rares in that match. Well done. And with that, we'll see you next
Well
time.
done, guys!
Finals.
GG, boys.